Okay, hey everyone, welcome to Equine Episode Examination, where today we will be discussing One Bad Apple from Season 3. So, welcome. If you are new here, I'm going to give you a quick rundown. Pretty much what we're going to do is we're just going to discuss this episode, One Bad Apple. We're going to start out with more of a general discussion on it, give our thoughts and opinions, and dive down into some more specific topics after that. Of course, you all are encouraged to participate in the chat, so we can just have a big discussion about this. Obviously, this is a Season 3 episode, so it's quite a bit ago, so hopefully everyone's had a chance to rewatch it. And of course, we've had a little bit more time to formulate our opinions than we would on more recent episodes. So, hopefully, we'll see if we're able to finish Season 3 before Season 6 starts. It'll be interesting to see how that works out, being that seems to be a little closer than a lot of people expected. So we'll see how that works out. I mean, we have a knack for having things work out here unexpectedly, so
we never plan this shit. We just don't.
We're going to take that as it comes and see how it works out. So if everyone wants to go ahead and introduce themselves, I'm Ran Shadow.
Yes, our bad apple of the group. Joining us also today is our batter bad apple, J.E. Smith.
Hello, folks.
The baddest of the bad apples, Matt the Shadow Man.
Yo, dog.
The not so bad apple, my brony side.
Yeah, I'm the good one.
And the annoying Norge, me, Mr. Ben.
Ah, get out.
Okay, so let me open this window. I don't even have this open. So let's go ahead. Let's dive in and talk about what are everyone's initial thoughts on One Bad Apple here.
I didn't watch the episode again.
You're banned
as per usual
from the fandom now.
I kind of didn't either, so. Oh my.
You're all banned.
Yay, I'm not alone.
Well, admittedly, I was busy doing site stuff. I have an excuse. And
multitasking.
Then I kind of sleep, and then I kind of woke up just in time for this. I mean, I only just watched it like half an hour ago, so I mean, I don't know why most of us kind of dropped the ball here.
You're. Well, at least it's fresher in your mind than most of everyone else here. So.
Yeah, but I haven't had much time to formulate exactly what I think about it. But I, go along with it and see where we go.
You've had like 3 years to do that, so.
Well, yeah.
You mean favorite Season 3 episode, right? Button mash. So
I think a lot of people seem to think with this episode it seems to handle the topic bullying poorly. I don't think it does it poorly. I just think it tackles a form of bullying, not necessarily the definitive way to deal with bullying, full stop. And I think people don't seem to quite either realise that, or when they sort of look into it, they kind of are looking for things that you're not actually going to get in the episode. But I just think for what it is, I think it does a reasonable enough job.
yeah, Matt, I think your mic is like down your throat or something.
He's on his phone.
I was about to say, yeah, he's on his phone, so he's doing a different thing than usual today.
Yeah, but I haven't ate my phone.
So it was like your kind of sound. But I can at least understand what you're saying. So for the most part, that's good.
That's my accent through the microphone. That probably doesn't help.
Yeah, we need to have like a British accent filter here, like one that
you need a translator.
Yeah. Well, that's why everything here that's made here in the U.S. takes so long to come out over there, because they got to retranslate everything for you all.
No, don't you mean you got to censor virtually everything? Oh, by the way, MLP censored in the UK. I've actually decided to properly, scene by scene, watch Tiny Pop stuff. It isn't just Cartoon Network UK with Steven Universe. Yes, MLP gets censored here as well.
What did they censor?
Yeah, really. various words are cut. References to cider mostly. To be fair, that kind of makes sense considering it's on a channel for 3 to 6 year olds. But yeah, what's funny is some
I
mentions are
drank
cut
apple
and others are
cider
not.
when I was 3.
Yeah, but cider here in the UK is more the alcoholic beverage rather than the non-alcoholic beverage. So I can kind of understand why.
Yeah, maybe they caught on to all the fandom and shit. Folks of Rainbow Dash being drunk off of it.
Yeah, a bit like I say, cider here. Most people, when they think of cider, they think of the alcoholic beverage, not the non-alcoholic one. So.
He's bad.
So gosh, I'm trying to get my thoughts together. So yeah, this was a good episode. I think it was had a very catchy song in it. And it tackles one of the more serious kind of relatable topics that of most of the episodes of the show. And of course we
Pinkie Pie and cabbages.
And then we also get of course introduced to a new character too with Bab Seed, who a new reoccurring character. Thankfully wasn't a one-shot character. Hopefully we see her again in season 6. I'd like to actually see what her cutie mark is, but we did see her a couple times, including later in this season as well. So it was nice that she wasn't kind of a one-off character.
We did actually get to see her the symbol of her cutie mark in the one season. Was it a season 4 episode? It was a pair of scissors, if I believe so.
It was a pair of scissors, but we actually didn't get to see the actual cutie mark.
Oh yeah, the actual cutie mark.
Don't forget, we'd also see Babs in Apple Family Reunion as well. So it's not like this is the only time we've seen her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah, we get to see her. She's recurring, so we actually get to see her multiple times since this episode. Just haven't seen her in a while now.
Aside, didn't she have that little background cameo in season 5?
Yeah, I hardly count that, but yeah. So
I'll tell you what though, I mean I've not seen the episode like fairly recently, but just thinking back to it, it just seems sort of odd after seeing season 5, sort of seeing Diamond Tiara and Silverstone, back in full action, full their loathsome original selves.
yeah. Hey, my brony side, I don't know if you know, but your mic's muted, but just wanted to
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure you knew.
Yeah.
Then good. Yeah, well, I guess let's dive into the story and the writing of the episode then. This episode was written by Cindy Morrow, and yeah, just Cindy Morrow. So just wanted to double check.
That's right, I wrote a 10 out of 10. Not totally biased because she wrote Hurricane Fluttershy.
10 out of 10.
But she always seems to write the more sort of emotionally charged episodes of the show, if you sort of look back on it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, diving back into something we start discussing at the beginning, so I might as well continue discussing it, is kind of the reception that the episode got, both before and after the episode showed regarding the story. I know a lot of people were complaining how it was kind of like a discussion was like bullying is in multiple, can be multiple forms, and a lot of the things that the episode stated aren't necessarily always going to be true. for every form of bullying in terms of like what the solution is going to be or why the person is bullying and stuff like that. But
the
I
episode
never really,
doesn't pretend that this is the only way bullying occurs.
Yeah, and I never really got that because the show is already explored bullying in a lot of senses. I mean, of course, the whole thing with the Cutie Mark Crusaders and Diamond Tiara ever since season 1. I mean, it's kind of been dealing with that and how to deal with that. And this episode is really just focused on one specific kind of bullying. And the interesting thing about it is it isn't really focusing. The focus of the episode it really isn't even the bullying itself and like being bullied and how to deal with that. The episode is very specifically about about not letting yourself become the bully because you're being bullied or something like that. And it does that in a couple different ways, both in terms of Babsy herself and then what the CMC do later in the episode. And so it's kind of like one particular kind of thing. And like I said, the show's already dived into bullying in a more general sense, and different kinds of bullies already. So this was kind of just focusing specifically on a bully that's being a bully because, in terms of Babs, because she doesn't want to be bullied herself. And the easiest way to not be bullied yourself is to start bullying someone else, so everyone focuses the attention on, on someone else. And of course, we already have characters in this show with Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon that, at least at this point in the show, were just kind of bullies because they were pretty much dicks. Of course, with season 5, we get a little more backstory into why kind of Diamond Tiara is the way she is in a lot of ways. But at least in this point of the story, they've already driven into the. They've already kind of dove into the. Sometimes people are bullies just because they're mean. So it's kind of just looking at it a different way of bullying here. Yeah, and this one's kind of interesting because it does deal with the cutie marks, this episode. So it is kind of one of those CMC cutie mark episodes, but it deals in it a different way than a lot of the other episodes in the past have done, which is nice. Because most of the other kind of CMC cutie mark episodes, of course, are about them trying to get their cutie mark in some way. And why they kind of briefly do that in this episode. This episode is mainly about, just specifically about the bully, being bullied about it, but not about them getting cutie marks, which is nice because there's only so many times you can have an episode about them trying to get cutie marks. And yeah, what you're saying there, Tim, about the some people wanted to see the all-around bullying moral episode. I totally agree, and that's what a lot of people were expecting, and for some reason it disappointed. But that's just not something you can do because, like, a lot of people made points in their arguments that bullying is a very broad topic and come in multiple varieties and multiple ways and for multiple reasons for multiple different kinds of people. So. Doing some sort of all-around bullying episode is kind of... I just don't think it's possible. There's so many different kinds, and so, like I said...
certainly not in 22 minutes, anyway.
Yeah, well, this episode's just diving specifically into one kind of it, so...
But it's not trying to hide that fact. It's not like it's saying, "Oh, this is how all bullying, it exists." It never says that. It never even attempts to say that. I mean,
definitely.
Well, I can understand that people can complain to say that, well, certain things like telling your siblings or your family or teacher or whoever about what's going on, sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But the thing is, though, the messages that the episode itself has, they're not inherently wrong. They're not. There's nothing intrinsically wrong with what they're suggesting and what they, in this situation. The thing is, though, bullying is an extremely complex subject. If you wanted to go in depth about all bullying, it's kind of impossible to really do in a way that's favourable, especially in an animated show. An animated show that's not really grounded in full reality. I mean, I know that we have very relatable characters in the show, and that helps a great deal. But I think I think what the show was just trying to do is it was like sort of like a starting point. You know, this is what bullying can be like, and this is something that you would, you know. I think the main hope that you would think with the goal of the episode would be that the child would interact with, you know, the parents about, you know, if they were being bullied or just about bullying in general. I think that would be probably the ultimate goal of the episode, if you can call it that.
Uh-huh. Oops, where's my... There we go. This was also, this is kind of getting to character development, but it's fine. While I'm thinking of it, this is also kind of the first time we see some of the CMC kind of get their talents a little bit more, I should say, when they're at the train station. Like we see that Sweetie Belle has like that little kind of spark of magic for a second there, and that's the first time we've really seen her have, you know, be able to use any magic at all. And you sort of see Scootaloo kind of hovering as well, even if she's not actually flying either. So, and that's kind of something I've always thought cool. But I saw something I always thought was kind of cool, especially with Sweetie Belle. And they've kind of had her slowly be able to use more and more magic throughout the next kind of couple seasons here, including the next season with the whole thing at the Twilight time, and then we see her being able to use it a lot more in the Troubleshoes episode, and as well as of course the episode where they get their cutie marks as well. So that was kind of the start of that in this episode, which
spoilers.
I like how they kind of built that up. So. Of course, this is also the start of the kind of the CMC kind of expanding their operations with getting Babs to make the Manhattan branch of the CMC as well, and that's again referenced a couple times throughout the series, including in season 5 in Apple Bloom's Luna episode that they had in season 5.
It's kind of a shame we didn't really get to see anything come of that, really.
Yeah. I would like to see, maybe, remember how they said Babs Seed started her own division of the Cutie Mark Crusaders up in Manhattan? I'd like to maybe have an episode dedicated to that, or just seeing where that went.
It would have been kind of interesting, but I think the reason they probably
CMC Army taking over Equestria.
Yeah, we only get a small mention in Apple Family Reunion, how it's going, but that's it.
I mean, it would have been kind of interesting, but at the same time, they probably didn't do it because it would have wound up being kind of repetitive to what the CMC have already done, in terms of their episodes and whatnot. Not to mention, it would just be kind of an episode involving completely new characters, but I think it's more just along the lines that it would have just been, we just get another episode of Phillies trying to get their key marks. It would be a little repetitive, but actually now going forward, it would kind of be an interesting episode to do now rather than in season 4 or 5, simply because we now know that the CMC's goal is now sort of trying to help others either figure out their cutie marks or try to get their cutie marks. And that's kind of what their deal is now. So I could definitely see them doing that in the future as one of the episodes, going to Manhattan and that branch of theirs, and seeing how they can help them get their cutie marks. think it would work better now than it would have before, actually.
It's like they planned it all along.
Dun dun dun.
They took the CQ mentality. We don't plan this shit.
Oh. It's our Lord and Savior, M.A. Larson.
He writes all the best stuff, including episodes of The Annoying Orange.
That was the best episode of Annoying Orange.
I like the bit where he was pretending to be a tennis ball.
You don't get that in other episodes.
No, that's actually what happens in that episode.
I know. I remember watching it. I remember watching it even though I wasn't there for that particular riff.
Yeah, I haven't actually. I know I wasn't really there for that particular riff. I've seen bits and pieces, but I haven't seen the thing entirely. It's kind of a shame too because I kind of wanted to be involved in that, but I was working second shift that day. Arg.
Are we still talking about the story here?
Correct. The story and the story and the writing.
Yeah, the thing that kind of sort of was a little bit put to one side was it was like a carnival type thing.
The parade.
That they would the parade. I know that wasn't the focus, but it was sort of a bit shunted to the side, and I'm going to be brutally honest here. This probably has the most insane and unintelligible appearance of Pinkie Pie in the whole entire series.
But it's the best. I still
don't understand anything she says in this episode.
It's because she's driving a big thing of lettuce, and
Yeah, but the lettuce puns are just...
It's so good. They're so bad. They're good. Pinkie Pie is making puns on a different level that you simply just don't understand. It's so advanced.
Perhaps it's my Britishness.
No, it's not. It's just they're so advanced. They're
I
next
think she was
level
probably
puns.
just drinking a lot of cider before she decided to take part in the parade.
Oh my god, I love the part... this is getting ahead, but... I love that part where the CMC go into her cabbage mobile and she's just casually laying down reading a magazine in the back.
And she's not even driving
this thing? Oh,
it
God.
drives itself.
It's so good. I did like the bit of writing where they're trying to tell Applejack what's going on. And they start to yell, and the entire right as they yell, the entire crowd is just silent. That one moment, it's so many times that's happened to me in real life too. It's just the one time you're either saying something awkward or trying to yell something at someone, just all of a sudden everyone falls silent.
I just love the idea of Cindy Morrow just sitting there thinking, "Now I've got to write a scene with Pinkie Pie. I think I might just have a wine first." And a few hours go by and she's completely inebriated, and then she finished writing it. Yes, perfect cabbage puns.
She was probably having a salad for dinner.
Maybe she was meaning we're going to be salad when we crash. I don't know.
You gotta like the lettuce in pun though. That was pretty good. It wasn't even an intentional pun.
Why couldn't she have just had a machine that was basically constantly tossing the salad, and then Pinkie Pie could say that she was a tosser?
She's tossing. Oh my god, this is getting into weird fanfic territory now. I did really like getting getting back to the story. I like how the episode was kind of laid out in terms of, here's another blank flank that is, related to Apple Bloom. She comes in, of course, Diamantira comes in and starts making fun of them, which then causes Babseed to kind of become the bully and bully them as well. But then, like how later on in the season, at the episode, how they have then the CMC trying to just get revenge on her, and in the process they themselves becoming the bullies, trying to bully Babseed. I do like how that was written, and I think it really kind of explained the moral the moral of the episode about not becoming a bully yourself to try and combat the bullying.
I will never forgive Babsy for brutally murdering the Let's Go to the Lobby mascots, though.
She didn't murder, she was just kind of sucking his brains out.
Isn't that the same thing?
R.I.P. Shake. He could have survived.
Shake,
We don't know he died. We don't know he died. He was still alive the last we saw him.
Yeah, but Master Shake never had a brain, so...
Just that juicy filling.
I do love how, I believe we probably mentioned this, but I do love how she just Pinkie Pies herself, like, right out of the, and she shows up in the movie, and then she, like, actually basically breaks the in-universe fourth wall by stepping through it all Godzilla style in the middle of the song.
Is that the fifth wall?
That expression on her face didn't help matters either.
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't mean to seem like I'm not here with keeping my mic mute, but I just don't really have that much to say, and there's some people over, so I don't need interruptions.
Gotcha. That's fine.
Like, I'm still here. I'm listening.
We do. I did like it. We got to see a little bit more of the actual like club, like the Kingdom Crusaders club in the clubhouse, like how their really weird meetings go, and this weird initiation ceremony they have for Babseed at the end, with Sweetie Belle reading this ridiculous like list of like the thesaurus looked up words for friends, and it I thought that was pretty cool, seeing more of their clubhouse in the episode and kind of utilizing that in a lot of ways, because we hadn't really seen a lot of their clubhouse in this series before.
Considering they basically fixed that place up, they should have got their cutie marks in carpentry.
That's master designer Apple Bloom.
So Scootaloo's just there for decoration, so that she doesn't look out of place on a farm, considering she's a chicken.
Oh.
She's there for the eggs.
Sweetie Belle's the cow, Scootaloo is the chicken.
I'm not going to comment on that.
So who's the mum and dad? They didn't care how they got cow and chicken.
There's no half ponies. I always thought that was weird, how they were just like a lower half they were just lower half of the body.
Oh, now I have this terrible thought in mind of crossing My Little Pony and Equestria Girl, so we get My Little Centaurs. Twilight sort of, body, but the head and sort of torso-y bit is.
I'm sure the
Equestria
art
Girl.
exists, because I think I've seen it before, and I don't want to see it again. Anything else for the story and the writing that anyone wants to discuss in chat or on here for it?
It's a solid episode. I don't think it's one of the best written episodes of the show, but I certainly think for what it's trying to achieve, it's perfectly fine. I'm gonna be brutally honest. I do find the Pinkie Pie scenes, while they're kind of hilarious in their bizarreness, they just feel a bit out of place. They're very left field. I know that's probably the entire point, but I just feel that it sort of deviated away from the sort of tone of the episode perhaps a bit too much.
This is the episode that had a
But
sequence
honestly,
that
but
had
honestly-
Babseed drinking out of a living cup's head, so...
Yeah, but that kind of made sense. They were in a theatre.
Well,
By
so
the way,
does
cinemas-
Pinky
cinemas
driving
are
a
in
giant thing of
Equestria
lettuce
confirmed.
in a parade that's apparently food-themed. It's the food celebration.
Jeez.
They should have had a fight instead, then they could have had a food fight.
Well, they did have a giant tomato float, so... It's the parade that's celebrating the finally the release of Food Fight in theaters.
I don't even know if that got a theatrical release.
I don't think it
The
did.
only body.
Only in Ponyville. That's the movie that was showing at the theater that they were watching.
The only people who would celebrate parade with a release of Foo Fight is the people who made it.
Maybe they live in Ponyville. We need Larry Kasanoff pony.
To be fair, who's this? Wasn't he in 2.5 Men? Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
The kind of drugs he's probably been on, he probably thinks he's in Ponyville most of the time anyway.
Oh man. But yeah, I do think that this episode it tackled a harder kind of subject to discuss, and I think it did the right thing by just focusing on kind of one type of bullying and focusing on like the character and like why she was bullying. It wasn't just a episode about dealing, generic dealing with bullying. It was a very character focused episode on Babs and the CMC as well, especially later in the episode.
Well, on that point, I know obviously initially she's not meant to be lovable, but I actually really like the character of Babseed. I find her quite interesting, and she's got that unique New Yorkian type accent. I agree. I really would like to see more of her because I genuinely think they could do more with her.
It's that whole New York accent.
Manhattan accent.
Pepperoni. Pizza. Let's see. Well, let's move
You
on.
what, mate? In it.
Okay, don't have that. So, next thing is the characters and the characterization. So, I guess let's start off by talking about Babseed. What does everyone think about her and her character?
She's a good new character to introduced. I believe she was the first new character of season 3 to be introduced, aside from King Sombra, who was actually really worth the damn.
Well, he's more interesting in hindsight more than necessarily in what we see in screen presence.
That's true.
Well, I really like how they portrayed Babseed and her personality because it really fits with the episode and how she develops over the episode. And in the end, realizes that I really shouldn't be a bully. It's I'll embrace your values as Kid Marketers and just be proud of who I am. But I like how you can see that she's insecure at the beginning of the episode, and she grows out of that by the end of it.
It's the little tiny details as well, like the fact that she's blowing her hair or what, to try and hide her face and stuff. It's very, very subtle as well,
Yeah.
which I really like.
And she has little subtle. She has a lot of subtle kind of mannerisms and stuff.
Constantly shoveling her tail over her flank to hide that she doesn't have a mark.
Yeah. And it's also a rather small tail as well, so it's not like she can just really covering up much.
Covering up just the right amount.
Yeah.
And it's the funny thing about that, you mentioning about Babs that's constantly blowing her mane and getting in her face. I think if I remember in season 5, that's how she gets her cutie mark. It's from cutting it or something.
Yeah. She's like a
hairdressing.
hairstylist, kind of cutie mark.
I can imagine having her end up being like a famous hairstylist. She ends up like doing it for, Countess Coloratura, so that brings her back, and you could probably like integrate like virtually sort of everyone together into one massive jigsaw by the end.
Yeah, I do like that they kind of had that be her talent, because like we said, with all of her like blowing her hair and stuff, like it was kind of subtly hinted at even in this episode. Even though who knows if they actually had that plan that far out.
Yeah,
You gotta love her name pun as well. Babs Seed.
Yeah, it's also kind of interesting in considering the fact that Babs is probably one of the few characters that's actually got like a actual real life name, because Babs is a real name. It's shorthand for Barbara. So it's not very often you actually see characters in this verse to actually have like legitimate actual names.
Apple's a legitimate name.
I see.
Technically, yeah. Still can't believe it, of all people. Name her own daughter. What the hell was she thinking anyway? Was she drunk or high or both?
We gotta be different.
She was hungry.
She likes that.
She really, really likes Applejack. Best pony. If I have kids and I have a girl and a boy, I'm gonna name the girl Apple and I'm gonna name the boy Jack. Perfect.
I was just gonna say, I see plenty of children called Rarity all the time.
It's a very popular name.
AJ's a real name, is in regards to shorthand. Jackie's also a good nickname as well. So, although we've never actually seen Applejack referred to as Jackie, we've never really seen that happen yet.
I can Twilight
AJ,
because of Twilight fans because
easier
of
to say AJ.
of the book.
Oh, Surrey. Oh, Surrey's a real name.
Mac's also a real name too, so.
Pretty sure Octavia is.
Yeah, I actually know an Octavia. I actually knew an Octavia in real life. So, back when I was in high school, but young woman in my theater class named Octavia.
I mean,
Lyra.
I think we can all agree that DJ Pwn 3 is clearly a real name.
I know 6 people named that. It's pretty common.
I know 10 people called Vinyl Scratch.
I know quite a few people called Sombra.
Well, Cadence, too, is a real name, I think.
Cadence is, but is
No,
I'm
I
not
know
sure
a
if
few
it's normally
berry
spelled with an E.
punches.
Gosh, getting back on track. To the character discussion. This was pretty much the first time that we've had a character that was. I'm trying to think, but this might be the first time we've had a character in the show that, at least at this point, that was a bully, but then also kind of has a reasoning behind it, and that and then of course is kind of redeemed at the end in terms of that. But we haven't really had any. I mean, of course, at this point, Diamond Tiara is a bully, but she's just a dick. I mean, we don't really know anything more about her, and really the only other ones I can think of are just kind of like the the villains, in the two-parters and stuff like that, or. You got Trixie, but she's just at that point until the next episode, she's just kind of a dick. I can't really think of any other. I mean, Gilda in the end of the episode, she's just kind of a dick, and she
much
leaves.
Dick in this show.
There's a lot of dicks. Please quote me on that. That's my official review of the show. My official review of MLP is that there's a lot of dicks.
Don't put it in your mouth.
But I really don't think there's any characters quite like Babs up until this point of the show, in terms of Yeah, she is kind of the villain of this episode and a bully, but she does have some reasoning behind it that's explained in the episode, and of course at the end she kind of redeems herself. So I think that's kind of a cool thing and a nice little different thing about this episode.
Just quickly going on to Diamond Tiara, you mentioning about her just being a dick. That is the one complaint I had about Diamond Tiara by this point. She'd become incredibly one-dimensional. She was the bully character for being a bully. There was no real, reasoning or backstory for it. I mean, obviously that eventually changed, in subsequent seasons, but sort of by this point it was getting a little bit, I wouldn't say old or stale, but it was sort of getting a bit one note, because it's like, oh, it's Diamond Tiara, oh, it's the bully character. It's like, she was there to be hated, and all credit to her voice actress. She certainly achieved that. But
we kind of I've seen a little motivation, but it's very broad motivation. Like in terms of, her stuff is, she's pretty much looking out for herself, and she's very self-centered. Obviously, her whole cutie mark and name, with that being kind of like, a little princess, very self-centered, very all about herself.
To be fair, Silver Spoon's even worse. She's just basically Diamond Tiara's puppet.
Yeah, or her bitch.
End of.
Yeah. But it's kind of like she's always looking at herself, and so it isn't. There have been times where she hasn't really been, like for example in season 2 in the gosh, what's the episode name? The Ponyville Confidential, where she actually works well with the, until the end where she kind of blackmails them. But at the beginning, she's working very well with the CMC, and they're kind of, getting along, at least in a business kind of way, not as friends, but
that was arguably her
partners.
best appearance up until subsequent sort of seasons, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it was because the episode wasn't really about bullying so much,
but it was kind of
cutie
showing
really
a different
so
kind of a
much.
different side of her in that episode, being that here she's not being a complete dick right off the bat to the CMC just to be it. She's actually working with them because it benefits herself. So she isn't just hasn't have no motivation. It's just she's looking to benefit herself. So that's pretty much the most we kind of saw out of her up until later episodes. And we see that happen again in season 4 in the Twilight Time episode, when again she's trying to get on good terms and be nice to the CMC, because it benefits her directly with getting to hang out with Princess Twilight as well. But I totally agree with you.
We need a Rain Shadow dickometer.
But I totally agree with you. The whole thing with her just kind of being the bully, and that's what she does, was kind of being overplayed. Which is I'm glad they kind of had her redeemed in a really nice way in season 5. And hopefully we see more of her in season 6, kind of what she's doing now and stuff. So
there was one line I remember Babs saying at the end that kind of doesn't do a bit of good now that we've seen exactly how Diamond Tiara's mother is like. But at the end of the episode, when Babs finally, goes up against Diamond Tiara, she basically tells Tiara to stop bullying her. I'll tell your mothers. Considering what we've seen of Diamond Tiara's mother now, that's probably not too much of a threat.
She probably would still feel threatened by him, because if some other pony is going to come to her and just like tell her how much of a bitch her daughter is, she'd probably yell at her for not dealing with it herself. Obviously she wants Diamond Tiara to be on top, and like to not let other ponies push her around and stuff like that. So she'd probably still be pretty frustrated with Diamond if some other pony is getting the up on her here.
Why do I imagine that Diamond Tiara's mother's parents are?
What was that?
Or Discord.
Matt, can you repeat that? You kind of lost you in the middle of what you were saying there. Maybe?
Hello?
In a sandwich.
What?
I'm not even gonna.
I don't know. I'm done.
I take it you lost most of that.
Yes,
all,
we did.
all I heard from you was silence and then in a sandwich, and that's all we heard.
We heard something about Diamond Tiara's parents
That
Discord
sounded
in a
weird.
sandwich.
In a sandwich.
That sounds like a fan fiction right there.
Let's do it. Someone get on that.
Diamond Tiara in a sandwich, alright.
The Diamond Tiara, her parents in Discord in a sandwich.
Cue the odd couple music.
I kind of would like to figure. I would kind of like to see the situation that led up to that.
It's Discord, of course. With Discord, or that situation, easy to get to. You can just poof them into a sandwich for no reason.
He's probably the one that made them go in the sandwich. Yes, please, go make me a sandwich.
Banana in.
Somehow, searching Diamond Tiara sandwich, I don't know how, but they somehow managed to make not so good to look at images. I would recommend searching.
I can see why potentially.
It's just like, but like why? Like the first one that's actually like most of them are just like glass plates. The first one that's actually like a pony is just like, why? Why'd you make this? I'm just gonna leave that.
I know.
Pony image searches, not even a safe search can save you.
Making cabbage porn.
I don't know if there was anything more to what Matt said, but I think what I heard was
I'm
enough.
not gonna search that. I'm sorry. I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna go there.
Hey, veggie salad.
This is not working well with my phone, is it?
No,
You've been fine.
It
You've
is
been fine up
providing us
until
with great laughs, though.
In the sandwich.
You've been coming through fine up until in a sandwich, so it's been working okay.
Sandwich.
Cabbage porn in a
See,
sandwich.
I'm not entirely sure if it's your phone or if you're just kind of drifting off to sleep and just saying random things. So
In a sandwich.
It's probably a combination of both.
Let's see. Typing in Diamond Tiara sandwich, the first pony-related images of a fat Diamond Tiara eating a sub.
oh
Yeah,
my
but it's just like it. I don't like how it's angled or anything. You know, just no thanks. I can see what they were trying to just. No.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't like that either. Oh God, where were we? Anyone else have anything to say about Diamond Tiara or I guess Silver Spoon? I don't really hear much from her in this episode, but anyone else have anything to say about their characters here? They kind of just make a very brief appearance.
Silver Spoon doesn't taste as nice in a sandwich as Diamond Tiara.
No comment.
Scootaloo is the best in a sandwich, though.
She makes the egg sandwiches.
Well, it tastes just like chicken.
I knew that was coming.
And the wings aren't that meaty though.
No, but she's got plenty of breast probably, I don't know. I haven't
Hi,
really looked.
hey Dark, welcome to the discussion where we're totally not discussing One Bad Apple.
We're talking about putting ponies in sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
We should have an entire episode of this dedicated to pony sandwiches.
Probably be in the next Discord episode.
There we go. Okay, Mr. Ben, that image. That's great. Oh, what the How did you just blink?
I'm glad I can't see on my phone.
Yeah!
I'm not sure if you want to see this.
It's if you combined Scootaloo and bulk biceps.
That reaction was just about beautiful, honestly.
I'm trying to imagine that, and it's like my brain just saying nope, nope, nope.
Very, very beefy chicken.
Anyway, we were talking. Where were we?
We were talking about sandwiches. Not really. Where were we really?
Now, we promised we were originally talking about One Bad Apple. We promised.
At some point.
At some point. Where did we lose track? I'm not exactly sure.
Something about sandwiches.
We've pretty much done the character. I mean, to be fair, the only characters we haven't really talked about are the CMC, but to be brutally honest, they're pretty much as we've seen them in previous episodes here. In terms of development, there's a tiny increment, I guess, but I think really the story was more the development of Babs rather than necessarily the CMC.
I think at the same time. I mean, we do get to see them, in terms of how they develop into the into pretty much bullying Diamond to not bullying Babs at the end, and sort of turning into what they despised at the end there. We hadn't really seen them as characters do kind of act like that before, so it was kind of a nice little change of pace there. That fit with the kind of the moral that they were driving in the episode. Anyone else have anything to say about the CMC in this episode?
I really can't think of anything myself.
The only thing I will say is they do kind of have a bit of a sort of a nasty streak in them, I would say. I mean, when they were trying to sabotage the thing, which effectively sort of could have possibly really seriously hurt Babs, that was kind of a bit dark to me.
Yeah.
And then again, I realized that at the end.
But they still went through with it. I mean, I know you could say, well, they're kids and they're basically thinking of revenge.
I mean, that's pretty much all they're thinking about.
I mean, the best way to solve your problems is to send it away in a float down a hill and into a river.
Now all I want now is Pinkie Pie to shout "Khan" like she's passing a kidney stone.
I did like to see if Sweetie Belle continues to sort of be kind of the voice of reason of the CMC there, and she was the one who was constantly saying, well, maybe we should just kind of tell Applejack or stuff like that, and the other two kind of were like, no.
Just
especially
run a mile when
Apple.
Sweetie Belle says she's got a plan.
Yeah. Poor Apple Bloom being having to sleep on the floor in her own bedroom.
She's an apple. I'm sure she can take it.
What's
I can imagine Applejack doesn't even have a bed. She's so tough she can just sleep anywhere. That, and she works so hard as well.
She sleeps on apples. It's a big pile of apples.
Apples in a sandwich.
I know for a fact she sleeps in a bed because I have a figure of her sleeping in a bed right next to me here. And the pillow has apples on it. And the sheets have apples on them. Because apples.
Why don't you just marry an apple?
Because that sir would be incest.
I mean the fruit, not a member of a family.
Oh boy. Let's move on to the voice acting. Anything from the voice acting that has stood out for anyone in this episode?
I'd say the voice actors for the CMC were pretty much on point this episode here. Who voiced Babs again? I know she was from Manhattan, but I like the Brooklyn accent that she was given.
That Brooklyn accent. Babs
Claire Collette started singing her.
Oh, of course. Yeah, she was voiced by Brianna Drummond, who is the daughter of Brian Drummond, who voices Mr. Cake and various other characters.
Maybe we should try to see if we can get her to say Brooklyn Rage the next time she's at a con or something. In her Babs Speed voice.
Yeah, it's nice hearing.
I can imagine. Like, you're talking about the voice actors. I'm just imagining Andrea Libman just looking through the script for this episode for Pinkie Pie, and she's just looking at it going, "What?
You what, mate?"
Yeah, she spoke completely in British, going, "You what, mate?
That's
Want me to take you outside?
British. You want to take this outside?"
Well, that would explain Fluttershy.
That's what we need. We got the Brooklyn one. We need that kind of accent and Pony now. Yeah, I would have to say it's nice.
A Manchester type place.
Yeah,
that'd be quite scary.
Wasn't that the Griffin Kingdom? I can see the Griffins going, "You what, mate?" Or I can see Gilda doing that.
I imagine it's more like a really run-down part of Essex.
Yes.
The only way is Griffin.
Oh boy. But yeah, with Babs, I do like hearing different kind of accents and dialects and whatnot in the show. So it was kind of nice, having someone from Manhattan, because at this point
you just like that because you like Applejack's accent, though.
Applejack's is great, best accent. But no, it's the first time, because we hadn't visited Manhattan at this point, with the exception of that brief flashback of Applejack in season 1, but we hadn't really been in contact with anyone from Manhattan. So it was kind of our first taste of that kind of the accents and the culture there. We hear that a little bit more. In
Just think, had Applejack stayed there, this is what she would have sounded like.
You what? For some reason, I have Applejack saying "you what, mate" in my head now.
That would be actually even funnier, considering the fact that when she was staying with her aunt and Uncle Orange, they actually had that upper class sophisticated tone.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be even funnier if she lost her
British convention. I'll try and get. Sorry.
Yeah. It would be funnier if she lost her southern drawl to adopt a more heavy or gruff Brooklyn accent, despite, or probably because of the fact that she was living with her upper class aunt and uncle. That would be hilarious.
So let's move to the humor of the episode. And discuss some of the humor of the episode now.
Oh man, well, we've already covered some of the humor on regards to give me 1 minute. Babs, on the theater screen drinking out of the animated soda cup, breaking the in-universe fourth wall or the fifth wall. Scene where during the song the CMC are dressed as 3 little pigs, and she's actually has the big Babs herself is dressed as the big bad wolf.
Pinkie Pie's puns.
Yeah. Apple Bloom's wonderfully deadpan. Seriously.
I do like when they're at the train station waiting, and all of them are all of the CMC are just jumping around, and Scooter Lucas has this like dirt face flying around, and Applejack's just standing there like, oh my God, boys, shut the fuck up, please. This is what I've gotten myself into.
Sweetie Belle jumping up and beginning to just sort of spark on her horn. Kind of has like a euphemism or visual euphemism.
That's that Sweetie Belle face. And then Scooter, what the fuck is going on with Scooter there?
So I loved how I believe we mentioned this, but Pinkie Pie's cart during the float parade being made out of actual lettuce as opposed to wood, like the other floats.
Yeah.
There's nothing else in it but lettuce.
Because after the parade is over, you can just have a little snack. Let's see.
Scootaloo Scootaloo rump bumping. That's what I'm trying to say. Blech. Babs during her tour of the clubhouse. Yeah, I guess you could say we're butt buddies. Bump.
I do like the whole introduction sequence as they're showing Babs around the their clubhouse here. They're like, this is.
You know what? We should have done a roll call for the start of this Equine Episode Examination that we each go, eh.
And we gotta have these little smiles, like they're so proud of of their roll call there. This is so awesome. This little animation of Sweetie Belle like eating nothing off a plate. There. Nom nom. Only just horse things. And I think one of my favorite things is the sometimes we just stand here and like wait till we get an idea, and they're just standing under that little lamp, and Sweetie Belle's just kind of sitting there thinking, and then Scootaloo comes in through the attic and boom. And then you get a little ceiling scoot there.
Would have been better if it was a butt scoop.
And that's like that's a reference. I forget to what episode, but that's a little reference to one of the previous episodes. I think it might be the talent show one when Scootaloo jumps up and has the idea and hits the lamp and it turns on. But I always thought that was kind of a funny little reference to that previous episode there, where Scootaloo got the idea under that lamp.
Say the freaking A-Team reference.
Let me play you the song of my... Yes, Scootaloo with the epic drum solo there.
Yeah.
Oh, we also got that little bit of that little golden Sweetie Belle there.
Yeah, Sweetie Belle found a golden flower from New Super Mario Brothers 2.
Oh my god! And there's so much scheming from I actually get to see we get to see Sweetie Belle's room here too. I forgot. It's like the first time we've seen her room. Let me see. Where's that good shit at? Yeah, here we go. First time we ever really get to see her room here in the house with Rarity and her parents. I like and Apple Bloom yells so loud it kind of like her. It gets that little scene here with Rarity and and Sweetie Belle's father there fishing on a pier. I'm just like, what the hell was
that? Yeah, and Dark's mentioning of long welcome speech or long induction speech, or I think that's what I'm looking for. To bring Babs into the club. Need to revise that sometime.
Well, not only is her list of synonyms for friend incredibly long, she mispronounces most of them as well.
Compadres, yeah. home girls. Trying to remember some of the ones they have. It's just so it just goes on for. This kind of goes on forever. I guess I love that whole kind of initiation scene there, because they have the Scootaloo playing those like really deep bongo kind of drums, and then goes to that crazy solo.
Yeah.
I like it. Of course, when and Scootaloo's like, can we speed this up any? And Sweetie Belle's like, well, you wrote this.
I'd like to draw attention to this image right there. Check the chat.
Oh yes. I forgot about the Doctor Who pair reference.
Yeah. Yeah, the Doctor Who pair reference. Yeah, that was a brilliant one. A little blink and you'll miss it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
This is another Pinkie Pie one, but there's like corrupt carts passing by, and the smell initially attracts Spike, and it lifts him off the ground.
Oh, yes.
Only Pinkie to hijack the scent, blow Spike a raspberry, and then follow the smell while levitating off the ground.
That was one of my favorite gags, because it's just like, it's a classic cartoon gag, but then they kind of turn it on its head with Spike about to follow it, and Pinkie's like, no, my smell. And then she goes up and follows it away. And then suddenly she's in the cab. She's suddenly in the lettuce car at some point after that. She, I think one of the clones escaped. Because, I mean, seriously, she's driving in the parade just like directly after that. Let me see where they get all the things that Let's see. We elect Babsy to join us as our sister, friend, confidant, ally, bosom buddy, gal pal, combator, chum of chums, homegirl, amiga. And you are solemnly sworn in here this day with your fellow sisters, friends, confidant, and then she just goes through the same thing again. Before Scootaloo interrupts, saying, "Congratulations."
Need to revise that.
Gotta remember to revise that. Oh, that was a really kind of funny scene. They're very well written. Sandwich's best friend.
I'm a sandwich.
What was that, sandwich? Befriend them all? Good idea! Yes, I know the original line was kill, but you can't really kill anyone in a My Little Pony thing here. Unless you're Sombra, then you're fucking dead.
Or Queen. Well, maybe Queen Chrysalis. We don't know if that Paul killed her.
Yeah, she's still hamming it up somewhere. Okay. Anyone else have any humor that they want to talk about from this episode? Had quite a for a serious episode about bullying. It did have quite a bit of fun humor in it. I can talk about. See if I can get to the next slide here. There we go. The animation and the visuals of the episode. I gotta say, I really like the all of the mischievous animations that the CMC had. Let me find one here. Let's see. Yeah, it was when after they get Babs in the float and Applejack comes. It's like, yeah, you're letting Babs drive the float. That's so nice of you. It's like, we thought she deserved to be the center of attention, and they do this evil laugh, and they're all like bumping shoulders and stuff.
Is it bad that I kind of want to see someone actually take that slide of the three of them just sort of rubbing hooves and just sort of Photoshop that with like the Grinch grin on their faces?
See, and then here's them all kind of rubbing their hooves together before they Applejack kind of reveals that part.
I mean, this right here is about as close as you could get to the Grinch face, but they use it again later in the series, so.
Yeah, they actually make it a little more overt
face.
About that.
that Babs face. Oh wait, I forgot. We also get another. We haven't had one of these for a while. We get another mule reference here. Oops. Let me get to the right.
We do.
Let me get to the right place. He's like, too cool for mule. And this poor mule here. Oh, this poor guy. He has the shades on and everything. He's like, you serious? That was kind of a running joke up to this point. We haven't had that revisited since, but we've had that mule joke a couple times in the series.
Yeah.
Before this episode.
Huh.
Let's see, where's...
This is interesting, actually. This that could be true.
Okay, here's the one where Pink they get into Pinky's float there, and she's just lounging on the couch reading a magazine with hey, look, there's another previous reference. You got Fluttershy on the cover from her brief modeling stint there as well. And yeah, no one's driving, so I don't know what Pinky, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
See, I don't know. Is kind of is she the dawn? Who knows? Or they're probably they're still related in some ways. So.
Yeah. I just thought that was kind of interesting.
But I mean, it's possible. It would be possible, being that is their aunt and Babs would be their cousin. So.
Yeah.
But of course, the Apple family has like a bajillion cousins. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apple family is like one of the largest families in the entire Equestria. Yeah. So.
Yeah. We'll get to see that later, and of course in a later episode this season. All the animation for the song sequence was so good. I mean, it was almost unlike any other kind of animated sequence for a song that we'd had, where most of the other songs so far were more the characters were set in whatever situation the song was being sung in. There wasn't much anything like abstract going on in the back. It was all kind of in world. But this song here is a lot more abstract, both in terms of the backgrounds they use, and also just kind of the situations that they're in. Like we already talked about how Babs is like coming through the projector screen and drinking the drink and stuff like that.
And and the rotating 3D bars during the song sequences where they have the CMC running on the yellow bars, and then the bars are not on 3D, and they just shift in the front of the viewer, and then the CMC shift up to a front view.
Yeah, so it's a lot more. Oops, where's my? There we go. There's a lot. It's a lot more of an abstract visuals and stuff, almost like a music video. It's actually kind of a lot like an old school kind of animated song sequence that you would see in terms of the visuals of it. Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about that earlier, Tim. We finally get to see Sweetie Belle's room and her and Rarity's parents' house, like where she lives there. Yeah, it was sort of like a music video. But it was nice. It was very fun to watch. And I really like the layout of a lot of the scenes in it. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else more to say about the song. It was nice seeing a few new locations as well.
Yeah, I enjoyed the song.
We talked about Golden Bell, and we had another character covered in the Golden Dust at some point right after this as well, didn't we? I forget who and what episode that was in, but this wasn't the only episode that we had someone covered in that gold dust.
I just also find it amusing that Rarity actually has just emergency edible boots of all things.
Oh god, dude, that was this episode. I
Yes.
forgot about that. Yeah, that was that was one of the most what the fuck things about the episode. Like what? Her emergency edible boots. Well, I'm not gonna even ask what those are for.
For emergencies.
Let me see if I can get this face. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's evil Sweetie Belle here. This is that face. Don't. It's like one of the don't see Sweetie Belle looking that evil that often. Yes, it was Applejack. What episode was that in? Season 3, episode 8. So that was actually season 3. It was this season. Okay. I thought for some reason it was season 4. So yeah, that was in the family reunion episode then. Yeah, I remember that now. That's when she was picking up all the supplies for their reunion in that episode. Golden Jack, available now on a blind bag near you. That's how I feel. That's how I feel at work after Christmas, when we have all of these glitter-covered ornaments, and I come home at the end of the day, and I'm just covered in glitter, and not even the deepest of showers can get it all off.
Oh man, I remember.
I feel your pain, Applejack.
To say, yeah, as a former custodian, I could tell you, man, glitter is like the bane of my existence, practically. Having to vacuum up after arts and crafts whenever we had something like that on, like, specific weeks, especially after vacation Bible school. It's just,
Let's see if there's anything else for the visuals. That song sequence was definitely the highlight of it. I like that beginning when they're kind of all like in the shadow there. And they're all silhouetted except for the eyes. Oh gosh! Oh, how can I can't forget this. This whole thing here. With that milkshake. Oh my god! Oh my god! That milkshake Bob. It's just like I have diabetes now. And look at this epic lighting on the shading on Babs here as she enters the ice cream parlor there. Oops. Oh god, I can't pause this in time.
Pretty early in the morning to get smoothies.
Look at this Scootaloo face down there. She's spitting these seeds at him. It's like the Home Alone face. Oh my gosh. All of them there, but especially Sweetie Belle. Oh my gosh. It's just like it's doomed. Oh, that's so good. Gosh, anything else that anyone knows about the animation or visuals that you want to talk about? I don't really have much else. I could go through the episode and stop at every single face, but we won't. Let's see. Let's move to the next one, which I believe is the song, which will fit nicely. So, we can talk about the song and the of the show. This episode actually does have a song, so we get a couple songs pretty early this season here, which is a little different from especially season 4 where we didn't, and season 2 where we didn't have a song until much later into the season.
Oh, it's probably one of my more favorite songs of the season. I really liked it, especially when I first heard it. And, I like the tune.
Yeah, it's really catchy. I love the kind of the very it fits the CMC well, like the style of it. It really it's the same kind of style like you would have their backing music and stuff in. Sort of like how that crusading music from season 1 where they're where they're going through that whole montage and they have that whole montage sequence. It's very similar to that kind of music. That one. It's similar to that. So I it's very 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 catchy song. Especially the chorus there. Let's see. There's also let me see if I still have it. They actually released. This is one of the a song that they actually had. Daniel Ingram actually posted a different mix of here.
Yes.
This remix here. Let me put this on.
Didn't he post like a trap remix or something?
I forget. It's been a long time here. I put it on. It's been a long time since I've heard it. I forget exactly what it was.
Yeah, I think I remember.
I think it has more guitar in it. It's a lot more kind of like guitar heavy and more like a rock song.
Yeah.
has that different bass line to it.
Hiding from a bully, we know it isn't right. But the cutie mark crusaders, we are looking for a fight. Oh, she'll go home soon and then we'll have some peace again. But for now we're staying out of her way till then. Everywhere we turn, she's just a step ahead. Babsy, what we gonna do? Got a bully on our tail, gotta hide, we gotta bail. Babsy, if she's after you, gotta run, we gotta flee, gotta hurry, don't you see? Why so mean? Why so crude? Why so angry? Why so rude? Can't you be nice? Can't we be friends? Isn't it sad? Is this how it all ends? Babsy, she's just a bad Babsy, she's just a bad Babsy, she's just a bad seed.
So that was
Yeah.
actually produced by the same people that helped Ingram produce the Love Is in Bloom song from the season 2 finale as well.
Yeah, and I was thinking of the Silverhound Trap remix. That's why I thought Trap.
Yeah. Oh my god, I have so many remixes of that song. So many remixes of that song. But yeah, I mean, I really like this song. It's a nice a nice kind of background to it with it, like do 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 do. Let me. I lost my place. Where is it? There it is. There we go. Get to that little kind of synth beat there. I really like that. In the backing track there. Yeah, it's a good song. It's really catchy, and I know that it was really a popular song with remixers too. So.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to say that's
actually,
good.
Button Mash raises a good point there. It is very similar in a lot of lot of aspects there to Sugar Rush from Wreck-It Ralph, which I believe came out the same year.
Okay, well let me actually look
purely
at it.
coincidence.
Bad Apple was released November 24th, 2012.
Wreck-It Ralph was November 2nd. So
Okay, so yeah, it was the same. So it was indeed the same year, just same month actually.
yep.
About-
But of course, all the songs are produced like a year ahead of time. So
Oh yeah, of course.
purely coincidence. But yeah, definitely very similar to kind of like that Sugar Rush kind of very sugar kind of popish in the backing track there.
Blood Mash. Bab's gone.
Oops, where am I? Any other comments on the song? Hey, nope.
Not really.
Okay. Next is the score and the backing music. There's a few different
That
things in
AT
here.
reference.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the biggest thing is definitely this. Like the direct parody of the AT music there. Let me see here. Let me bring up and bring. Come on, load. Let me bring this up and see if there's any other points I wanted to make about this. Just gotta find one bad apple. There we go. I do like one of the other cool things here is in the Clubhouse tour track, which is when they're showing Bab's seed around the clubhouse. It has like a little instrumental kind of variation of the Giggle at the Ghosties song. So if I put on that here, where's Giggle at the Ghosties here? Here it is. Let's see, it's more of the chorus there. Right after this. Here we go.
Yeah, didn't even notice that actually.
So that's the instrumental of Giggle at the Ghosties there. So let me play the Clubhouse Tour track. So, and,
That actually sounds something got like a beach theme almost.
so it has that same kind of melody as the Giggle at the Ghosties song there, which I thought was interesting, being that this is that was Ingram and this is William Anderson here. So that's something that stuck out to me the first time I heard it. Let's see if there's. Let's see if there's anything else here. We got the Nate team. Well, I won't play because I don't feel like finding it. But they're during the scene where they're kind of chasing after the Mabs and the sabotaged float. There, it has a little piece of score that I know has been used in similar scenes quite a few times before. Let me see if there's anything here. This is one of the kind of the ending lesson theme. This has been used quite a few times in the series since then too. I think this ends with one of the little motifs of the episode here. Let me see. There you go. That little kind of fanfare there is used a few times in the episode. It's one of the, like a little CMC motif. Yeah, here's another one. That's used a couple of times in the episode. And finally, the only other thing I have to say is here's the Scootaloo's epic drum solo. You gotta love the late hit.
It has that late bomb right there at the end.
as it shakes the entire clubhouse.
No, there's actually a YouTube remix where they actually had that huge drum solo kind of as the beginning of that in there.
Wow.
If I can find that, that'd be great. But
so that's all I have to say about the score for the ep. Let's discuss the theme and the moral of the episode. What does everyone think about that?
So yeah, today,
Mr. Benz, your mic's muted. Although I have a feeling that I know what he's going to say. But I'll wait for him to say it.
I want to wait too.
I think he screamed it so loud. He screamed it so loud that it muted him.
I have no idea how the hell I did that, but
I was really hoping you'd say in a sandwich when you got back. That's what I was thinking you were gonna say.
In a sandwich. Because
Today's
Mr.
moral
Ben,
of the story is in a sandwich.
Mr.
Don't
Ben,
be a dick.
that just all that reminds me of is the your old outro video with the Old Spice guy, and he said in a can. That's all I can think of. In a sandwich.
Bam! Just blast through the wall on a jet ski.
Matt the Shadow Man just blasts into the chat. In a sandwich.
The CMC. The Cutie Car Crusader sandwich. Apple bloom, apple jelly, sweetie bear marshmallow fluff, and scootaloo chicken filling.
Marshmallow on chicken. That doesn't sound so good.
I don't know, I was trying to...
With applesauce.
Or maybe orange jelly, I don't know. I was going for the obligatory chicken joke, but it didn't really work in this case.
Okay, theme and the moral. Yeah, I mean, we kind of discussed the theme already. It was the bullying, but more focused on a specific thing of bullying, where, you know, there was a couple of different things. First, it's, you know, sometimes it's best to tell an adult if you think you're being bullied. But the bigger thing was all about, you know, how sometimes people are bullies because they themselves have some sort of insecurity about them. That, you know, that they don't want to be picked on for, so they feel they have to be picked on other people. And a lot of times when you're dealing with bullies or dealing with a lot of things in life, you don't want to find yourself becoming the bully in an attempt to get revenge or deal with the issue at hand.
You know, of all things, now that I got a mental image of, I just get this mental image of, like, the Cutie Mark Crusaders just zipping up in front of the screen and going, kids, there's nothing more cool than hugging someone you like, but if someone tries being a bully to you, that's no good.
No good. Oh, gosh, let me see. This, oh my god, okay. Maybe not the best thing to search on Google, but there. Let me crap.
Oh boy. What are you searching? Don't really want to know.
Just like you before, you don't want to know some of the weird images that came up in my search.
Yeah.
Here's this though. Yeah, AG needs an adult.
Applejack's like, I need an adult, and Rarity just shuffles in closer and is like, I am an adult. I need another adult.
It also, I couldn't find anything from it right away, but you could also redo that with the season 5 episode with Luna when Pinky suddenly appears in Applejack's bed from under the sheets. Oh gosh. Anyone else have anything to comment about the moral? Nope.
Not really.
Okay, neither do I. So, favorite parts and any concerns for the episode?
The song.
Yeah, I'll say the song, yeah.
Yeah.
The song and Babs is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
I happen to like the 18 parody myself. That to me was just so unexpected and came like completely out of left field.
Well, and the funny thing is that's not even the first time we've had an A-Team reference in that same exact. Let me see if I can find it. Gosh, it's hard to find in some of these in the first two seasons because it's not as organized. I forget what episode that was in. There's the other episode. It's the Dragon Shy episode. Problem is I can't find what episode number that is. Let me see. Dragon Shy. Dragon Shy is episode 7 of season 1. And here it is. This is from when all of them were getting ready at to go out in that one little sequence there. Still one of my favorite sequences. So yeah, that goes on. But it's kind of funny. It's not even the first A-Team reference in the show. When that episode premiered, I completely forgot about that previous reference too.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. I didn't even think that was even an 18 reference. I just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost the same score there.
Yeah, it's. I didn't even realize that either when I first heard it.
Anyone else with concerns or favorite parts that they want to list? Nope. What's everyone's overall feelings and conclusions, finally, of the episode?
A good episode.
Good episode.
Yeah. Pretty decent, yeah. Not the best, but certainly not the worst either.
Well, I mean, in a sandwich, it was a pretty good episode.
That's gonna be like a new meme of this year, isn't it?
That's the new one. In a sandwich. Matt needs to. Whenever Matt enters the chat, that needs to be the first thing he says from now on.
Right.
In the sandwich. It's a really enjoyable episode. It has that really catchy song, and a whole, very, very visually pleasing and original sequence that, matching it. Tackled a delicate subject in the right way. Introduced a very enjoyable new character, and yeah, it actually kind of had someone in the series that was kind of the antagonist of an episode, and really gave them a good reason to be the antagonist. Which is something we hadn't really gotten a lot of, besides whenever the main six might be doing something in the wrong, or the villains, of course. But even then, a lot of times their motivations. What the hell did you just post? You need to send that to Xena. Actually, no. Yeah, she can see that. She needs it. Hold on. Pardon me, everyone. I need to type this. There we go. It's today's. That's today's daily cadence for Xena for her Twitter. you can post that in the chat too. The chat here, so everyone else can see what the hell we're talking about.
Oh, I'm dying over here.
I think that cadence is not the real cadence.
I just saw that, and I'm just like, I need to stop scrolling down.
Do you take this gold to be your husband? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. That's beautiful. Oh boy. So
appreciate that when she sees it.
This has been the most hilariously off-topic episode of this yet.
I'm gonna need a lasagna now.
Oh my god. Well,
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Oh god, what's this for? I do
It was the
that?
one you posted in the Slack. I mean, in the.
Oh yeah, the.
Yeah.
Everybody else needs to look at that.
That's what happens when you scroll too far on a Google image search.
Exactly.
Gosh. Well, with that, everyone, thanks for joining us this week. Oops. Type that in. For Equine Episode Examination for that. Next week we'll be finally reaching the episode that Mr. Ben has been waiting for. So more than likely something is going to happen, and we're going to have to push it back a week.
Of course.
Just because Mr. Ben
bloody course.
really wants to. But no, next week at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be doing Magic Duel, the return of Trixie, and our first M.A. Larson episode of the season. So we'll be doing and covering that next week. I'll have a lot to talk about with that, definitely, next week.